For a long time, back in Alaska, as I was growing up, I would always stare at the ground, not taking in the sights around me, not hopeful that those things would give me anything to observe. I thought the inner heart was the place where beauty could truly flourish. I'm not in Alaska anymore. I don't think I'm anywhere. Sometimes when I see something, it locks me in a trance. I can't take my eyes away. And it's like, for that moment, that's the whole world. It could be innocuous. It could be explosive. It could have been love. There are these little moments that I feel like we've forgotten. Each of these moments, they feel like steps taken on a trail. When embarking, you don't know the trail. You may understand the concept of it, but each step is unique to the next. If I hadn't placed my feet in those spots, where would I be? Life is a flurry. We try to anticipate it, but it's hard to anticipate things that are intangible to us. How do we know a crisis is going to happen tomorrow? How do we know there is a tomorrow? When I was a child, I was sad. I was told not to look at my feet, to keep my head up. But I felt like there were details people were missing about the ground. And if they stopped and cared, they could see things differently. And then maybe I could as well. But free passage of ideas is a novelty of a thought. If humanity were to all come together, if all of humanity were to co-align, would we prosper or would we perish? There aren't answers to these things, because if there were, we would know them. The power of language that we have between each other and throughout each other, wouldn't it translate to more if it really meant something meaningful? But like me, in Alaska as a child, I feel we're all looking down at the dirt. We're also preoccupied by the shape and size of the terrain surrounding our feet. We never take a step back to realize the immensity of scale. To live a life of love, you have to broaden yourself. You have to see beyond what your own vision can lend you. Sometimes it's hard to be aware of our own ignorance, but it's there. It'll never go away. And that's why we rely on each other. We have to help each other, or else we're alone. Imagine being stuck in this world for decades with the beautiful gift of language we've been bestowed, with no other people to share it with. One's brain would twist itself into knots. It would analyze itself down to the minutiae, and then even further, just to give itself a exercise, but that's not living. Isolation makes us grow disparate. I used to wish somebody would sweep me off my feet. Maybe in a emotional sense, maybe in a philosophical sense, but I was always hoping there'd be someone. I was very gullible when I was a child. I wanted so desperately for there to be magic in the air. I love the spark of wonder that learning grants you. That moment where you're broadened forever, regardless if you want that broadening. It's important. It's palpable. It's tangible. My goal in life is to make people feel that same hum of electricity that I get deep inside me when my passions and reality all coalesce. And it's a wonderful feeling. I want to share that with others because other people are my foil. They're the distant corners of the tapestry that we're all part of. And if I can make some sense out of my corner and share that with the others, I think that's beautiful. This world is a world of stone. It's a world of wonder. I try to tell myself not to squander moments because they'll never happen again. Even if I don't want that moment to happen again, sometimes I still wish that it would linger, just so that I can have some time to bask in that feeling. I feel like a swimmer sucked beneath the waves of possibility. Anything could happen. I feel like an ancient body that after billions of these moments coagulating together, they all swirl in my head, and I don't know where they are, where I am. Am I those things? Or am I more? When I was younger, I craved for a body that was beyond form. I wanted to feel the universe as it felt me and flow through everything as part of it. I was worried my atoms were too tightly knit, and that was why everything felt so wrong for so long. If I were to allow my body to fully succumb to entropy, would that still be me? At what point would I lose my own self for all the moments trapped inside me to be starflung from one point to another? Somehow that soothed me. The idea that at one point I would embody that universe that is so dazzling and unending with its wonders. I used to curl up in my bathroom tub as lyrics to songs would gyrate through my skull like an intrusive thought, but with a melody and with a structure. I was so scattered. I still am scattered. I don't know any other way to be, but I have changed. I'm not that same person. If I were, I would still be in that bathtub, clutching my head. There are shadows of that person. I feel the knots inside me slowly untangling. They're deep. They're pained, but they're mine. And it's my responsibility to untangle them. not my responsibility to anybody else, but to myself. I realized that if we are all part of some unifying underlying structure, and I truly am not an individual, then I owe it to myself to work out my kinks, to buff out those unwanted areas, the things about me that keep me up at night. I owe it to everything around me to find myself in my truest form. And I know somewhere inside me that person is there, and they're desperate to break out. They want to breathe free. But how do I go from being who I am now to being that person? The heat of life is fervent, and I believe that light within me is burning as well.